This is the Ink Pray Love podcast. We talk all things health, wealth, and community connection. Let's go. Welcome to this episode of the Ink Pray Love podcast. We are here at the Lighthouse Studios in Bali. I hope you guys come visit me out here. It's fucking awesome. And I hope wherever you're listening from that you do make a trip out here and hit me up when you're here. It's just great to have my listeners come through, come by the shop, come have a chai, whatever, but just come and connect. It's great to have you guys out here. Today is a special day. Today is the 3-year anniversary of my near death, almost dying in that motorcycle accident, breaking both my legs, pelvis, elbow, Achilles, and bladder. It was a crazy, crazy recovery time. And today's 3 years since then. And this morning I did a fitness class at Bamboo Fitness. Shout out to Bamboo, they're dope. And it was a huge group fitness, kind of like a CrossFit type of class. I would never think that I was going to be able to do something like that. And yes, going up and down the stairs here at Lighthouse after that is a bitch, but it's cool. I wanted to talk to you about the rut I've been in. Since January this year, I just felt rough. I had a very intense year. I mean, I had to quit all the painkillers I've been on since this accident. There was 2 years on morphine and tramadol and sleeping pills. It was just rough to sleep and metal all up in my body, 9 surgeries. Like, I got prescribed this stuff, but as you guys know, I used to be a drug addicted drug dealer. So opiates were my jam. It's like a hug from the sun. It's just like, there, we love you. It's just, it lights up all the neuroreceptors that, you might not have gotten feeling loved or accepted. And it's opiates were my jam. They feel amazing. And it was just like, here you go. You have to take them now because of the pain you're in. And you're like low key, the junkie in you was like dope, but it's not cool because I started noticing this, it's like a protective film that was between me and my spiritual powers, in the sense of me just meditating and focusing, my intuition, my creativity, me feeling connected and close to people, me feeling like I actually love things, really caring. Like I wasn't feeling good and bad as much. And I was like, this ain't cool because I can't meditate deeply anymore. And I don't want to really dive into my spiritual practices and the mood swings, just everything. I was like, this isn't how I want to live my life. I want to live the rest of my life pain-free without painkillers. That would be great. And I think that's a bit of a work in progress to get to. So in January this year, I decided to quit all the opiates on that end and switch to Kratom. Now, Kratom is a Borneo tea leaf extract. It is legal in most countries. It is a little controversial though, but it's primarily used though to help people get off of opiates. So it is in fact itself a mild opiate, but it's kind of like doing a Percocet and having a coffee at the same time. And that's why I loved it, because it fucking feels good. If you take a lot of it, it does feel good. But it also, of course, something like that has its tail end effects. So it did, help me get off of a pretty rough week of withdrawals, coming off of 2.5 years really of painkillers. Every day taking the prescribed amount of morphine, the prescribed amount of tramadol, that was really helping me be active. And, the recovery process for the 2 years after my accident, I shot up like a bullet. I got in really good shape. I took it very seriously. And then I kind of plateaued because I got another little shoulder injury and it was stopping me from really training how I wanted to train. And it's kind of like my body hit a bit of a wall. And I started just feeling all the injuries and creaking and aching, and the painkillers weren't really helping. And I was just like, this stuff is not really it. And so I swapped, got off the prescribed opiates in Bali, flushed them all down the toilet, got off all the sleeping pills, the tramadol, trazodones, all these things, got off those. And it was a really rough week where I barely slept. And I had to reset my body's natural melatonin production. I had to reset my body's natural dopamine production. But luckily the Kratom helped, a lot with that process. So it really helped taper it down. It's much more natural. It's, much easier on the system, but it's still not good. So around that time I swapped, I went through a breakup. I was stressed out because this asshole was renting my Mercedes back at home. Julio Carrillo, fuck you. He's this dude that was renting my car and not paying. He stopped paying around that time. And so this guy had my car and he wasn't paying, and then running up like $1,700 in parking tickets. So I was getting really stressed out about that situation because I couldn't be there to choke the life out of him. And then I was going through a breakup, and then I had to take back on 2 businesses. So both my tattoo shops, where I thought I was going to be able to sell one and offload management responsibility, the other it's on autopilot, and I could just do coaching and retreats and do other stuff. So my life plans changed, and I'm back in Bali, and I'm off the painkillers, and I'm on Kratom now. And okay, this is like an adjustment period. It was a lot for me. Like plans changed a lot very rapidly, and it wasn't what I was expecting to happen. So it was already like a stressful environment to be in. And then the Kratom like revs up everything in that sense, where you don't feel the upset parts of you, but then when you're not on it, there's a tail end effect and you feel kind of extra sad because your dopamine goes into a trough. So you're shot up super high and then you're low. And I was like, I knew this isn't a good way to be, but as I had to take back on operational responsibility of these 2 businesses, and we're launching a chai bar inside a Karma house. So I have like a restaurant launch now. I needed to power through and really pick back up things. So it was like, let's take Kratom, and I'm taking this Kratom to get through things. And we do a successful launch for chai bar, and it's great. I was feeling really good at this time, and like things were going well, but also, you know, you're tasting Indian food for a menu like consistently. Plus, you know, this injury, I started gaining weight and I wanted more sweets. And I noticed like, I wanted more sweets. I wanted more distraction. You know, my income was dropping because I was putting so much energy into building, like launching the chai bar and getting Karma House going again. So I wasn't coaching as much, and that was my main money maker. And okay, I have other income streams, but like it's taking a lot more energy into build mode. And then also my own like dissatisfaction with like getting screwed over by this guy with my car and different things that I was like, in a bit of a rut, and the rut was deepening. I noticed it deepening, where it was like I wanted more compulsive addictive actions to keep me out of really feeling the reality I was in, that so much change happened that I wasn't really happy about. So I noticed myself get into this rut of not feeling good about life. And that rut was being filled with cinnamon. This is a cinnamon bun place out here that's like fucking crack. It's delicious, but I was getting it like almost every night. Like I started getting fat, and I wasn't happy with me getting fat. And then training wasn't going as well. So my body would hurt more, and I'd be training and it wouldn't be getting as muscular. I wouldn't be getting the results, but my body would be in more pain. My nervous system was being ramped up like crazy off this. And I was like, well, that's no place to be either. I need to switch something. My skin was getting bad. I was getting inflamed. I was getting puffy. I just wasn't happy with how I was looking. And I was like, this got to change. Like, you're supposed to be a coach. You're supposed to be, you know, a healthy lifestyle. You're supposed to be doing all this like you're supposed to be shit as well. So I was feeling shame. And I was like, this is not healthy. Like, you're not happy with what's going on in your life, and you're soldiering through and you're coping. And I was like, okay, fuck that. What do? It's like, well, obviously cut out the Kratom and deal with reality completely sober. And I was like, okay, let's do that. And so I went through another week of withdrawals, cutting off of everything. So I had 0 Kratom. And that's when things got quite interesting, because then I had this big deficit in dopamine, big deficit. All my hormones were fucked. And I was like, okay, like I'm not putting on muscle. I just want sweets. I just want to stay home and watch Netflix. All I wanted to do was watch series. I just wanted to hide from the world and be in a blanket in a cold aircon room. I didn't want to deal with multiple like stressful issues in my life. I just wanted to hide. And I went through this for about a month of it being bad. And then I just knew I needed to make a shift. And I was honestly scared. And let me know if you've never been like this. I was scared this was going to be the rest of my life. And I had the shame of like, you're going to turn out a fucking loser. Like, you're supposed to be this guy that coaches people, and right now you're being a slob. And I had the shame and guilt about that too. And I was like, this is not okay. And so I did practical shit, and I talked to my friends that were way smarter than me in biology and, you know, human performance. And I talked to my close friends who loved me and believed in me. You know, I got support from my people. And I also got like a hormone blood panel, like my blood checked, and it was like, well, you're testosterone deficient right now and you're estrogen heavy. So I just knew like this was neurochemically, biochemically not all, like, there's other factors about this. It's not just me being shitty. It's also my body's not producing what it should be producing to be on it right now. And that's a factor. Like it's a real factor. So I was wondering why I couldn't like take tasks on and be motivated to finish tasks. I didn't really want to do it. I just wanted to watch TV. I just wanted to cope. Like I didn't want to actually commit to things. So I just like, ugh, I don't want to do it. And I was like, why is that me? I'm usually a go-getter. Like, why is this me? And it's like, well, you're not having the chemicals in your body to produce what you need to produce. So I was like, okay, let's get treatment for that. Let's get the right supplements. Let's get the right doctors to prescribe me the right things and get on the right, things that TRT, get on the right things that are to help me get back to a baseline that's normal if my body's not producing the right chemicals, because you've been on painkillers for almost 3 years. Like, come on, buddy. Let's shift that. Let yourself off the hook there. And so as I started doing that, I wasn't getting quite results yet. And I still was feeling like shit. And I was like, this is not working. Like, what do I do? Should I be a monk? And I seriously went through this little while of like, maybe I should just fuck off and be a monk and quit life, like quit everything and just be a monk, devote my life to service. It'll be dope. At least I'll still make something out of my life, but at least I can take off the pressure of having to be a somebody. And I'm not being a good somebody right now. It's just, again, it's shame. I was going through this like this guilt factor of this idea of who I was supposed to be in the world and me not living up to my own stupid expectations. It's just like, well, dude, have some sympathy to yourself. You almost died and then you had to get off 3 years of painkillers. Like, give yourself a little break here. So I had to give myself a little break on that situation. And also then just come into a space of, what do your body need right now? You're on overdrive. You're burnt out. You're revving up your adrenal glands like crazy, trying to perform, but really also you need soft healing as well. So I booked this meditation retreat and I really needed that because I used to do a Vipassana twice a year. So every 6 months I'd do a meditation retreat. And I hadn't done one in a couple of years. And I had this fear in me because I was so far away from being able to meditate. Like I'd try to meditate in the mornings at this stage I was in, and 5 minutes was hard. 5-10 minutes, I'd daydream like crazy. I'd be all over the place. My mind was racing. I would think of revenge every morning of this guy that fucked me over about my car. I was really like frustrated about the situation. So I knew I needed to go away and face that because there's no way around this stuff. The only way out is through. And I needed to get the skills to get through this situation. And I'm so fucking glad I did it because I got to this meditation retreat and it was held by these two women that are like, kind of like meditation babes in a sense. Like they were like attractive Ukrainian women that I didn't expect to be so deep. And I know that sounds shitty and I'm sorry. It was my own judgments. And I was just like, well, the retreat is at this beautiful temple and I need time to kind of get away and just be off my phone for 5 days and reset my adrenal glands. If that's all I get out of it, it'll be great. I didn't expect much out of their teachings because they were, in their Instagrams, like attractive females, kind of like playing the Instagram game a little bit. And fuck, was I wrong. They were so intelligent and deep and practiced and like epic humans. I'm so grateful I have them as my friends now. And I told them this to their faces, so it's okay. I'm not being a fucking chauvinistic asshole here. It's just you'll see their Instagram. You'll be like, I get it, bro. So it turned out to be such an amazing retreat led by such talented quality human beings. And it surpassed my low expectations. So that was dope because I needed 5 days just to relax and just to sleep the first couple days, be off my phone, and be in this beautiful, nurturing Buddhist temple that was built by Buddhist monks with love. It was a very like feminine place and very nurturing. And usually Vipassana meditation practices are like fucking hardcore, like 10 days of silence and 10 hours a day of meditation. And that was like really scaring me at the time because I could barely sit for 5 minutes. I was so out of practice. So to do 10 hours a day, I was like, I don't think I'll survive that right now. I'll go crazy. I don't know if I can do that. And this is where it comes into play is like, if you don't think you're at where you should be at, it's okay, but start slow. Like go do a 25% rep, And so like a 5-day meditation retreat where you're allowed to do two yoga sessions a day. And there's only 3-4 hours a day of meditation spaced out between the whole day. That's pretty chill. Like that's pretty chill. It's not too bad. So I was like, okay, I can do that. And it was so amazing to see where my mind was at. And it was racing and racing and racing through, all this turmoil and addictive tendencies and revenge thoughts and just this, that. And the first couple of days were a bit of a struggle with that, but I was getting somewhere in the practice. And then I cheated. And you're not supposed to do this, but I'm a bit of a rebel, and I read As a Man Thinketh. That's the book, As a Man Thinketh. And it is kind of like an old-timey talky book, like it's an old book. And James Allen wrote it like a million years ago. And it was great because it really, really highlighted that what will serve me in this situation is having a calm mind. And money is not nearly as important as having a calm mind and bringing clarity in to your thoughts and finding ways to learn how to think better with more skill is the primary like objective. That's where all the other things come from. If you can nail this down and find clarity and calmness and work on what you think about, that it's a master skill. And you'll get success from that master skill. And I was like, I know this, but I needed the reminder, especially when I was in this meditation retreat and I'm thinking about kidnapping this Julio guy and, chopping his hands off. And I'm like, that's super violent and crazy. And I'm in a Buddhist temple in front of a big gold Buddha. Like, what am I doing? Like, well, you're being bad again. And it really helped me like see that my thoughts weren't being useful and they weren't being skillful. And I really needed to calm down what I was thinking. And I really needed to find a place to fall back in love with the present moment. And this is where I found a breakthrough. This is where I was like, oh yeah, if I just love right now, this present moment, this breath, feel my feet on the ground, feel the shirt on my back, and just like right now is beautiful. And in this moment, there's God. Like in this moment, there's peace. The right now can be divine. And that's where I had a big shift, where I started loving the present moment and had a deep breakthrough in my meditation practice. And I found this really subtleness of my breath. And I realized, in the universe is like, as is one thing, as is the whole, like it's so like that. So if you can find peace in a very, very subtle present moment breath, you can also find peace in mundane, simple things in life. And that's the most important thing. So worrying about a Mercedes that really doesn't matter is not a big deal. Why don't you worry about if you can be happy just feeling the breeze on your arms? Like, can you just be happy with living and being simple? And all those other things will fall into place. But if you're putting more importance on what you have and how you're perceived, then if you're actually enjoying being here in every moment, can you really just be here? If you're not just on autopilot in this circus of consumption, can you get out of that and just be skillful at being, like really being, instead of just doing? Can you just be? And that really changed how things were for me. And when I got through this retreat, I was glowing for days. And I had these beautiful moments of just like riding my scooter and enjoying trees, just riding my scooter and wanting to listen to mantra or nothing, or riding my scooter, listening to my buddy Lucas Mack. He has an amazing album out. He has so many great songs, and it's like positive rap. Like tapped in. Lucas is magical. He has magical powers. He really is a Jedi human being. And his rap is like good. Like it's good music. It's well produced and it's positive. Whereas I was listening to like the new Drake song and I was like, well, I'm happy Drake's kind of bouncing back because we're both Canadian. Shout out Drake. But also like it's low vibrational music and I don't feel that good after I listen to it. And I was sensitive coming out of that meditation retreat. So listening, like I didn't want to watch Netflix. I didn't want to eat shitty food. I didn't want any addictive compulsive behavior. All I wanted to do is living a sattvic life, like a really high vibrational pure life. And I wanted to meditate consistently. I wanted to make sure I was getting that time on the meditation cushion. And I was like, this is the pocket that I want to live in because I'm naturally wanting to nourish my soul and I want to incline myself towards practice. And the more that I inclined myself towards practice, like I was happier. So the more I inclined myself towards practice, the more I appreciated little precious simple moments. And when I'm appreciating the now, the less I would daydream about if I won $30 billion or like if I became the president of the world or like if I was able to teleport, blah, blah, like all this stupid random shit that would come through my head that doesn't make any sense. That's just wasting my time, my mental masturbations. It's like, you're not living in the present moment. You're not living in reality. You're living in an illusion, Aren. Like you're daydreaming about stuff that won't happen, that hasn't happened, that will never happen. And it's taking up your mental space from experiencing what is happening right now. You're literally wasting your life. And I was like, fuck, it's an addiction to daydream for me. ADHD, like I'm constantly just daydream. Like it's a way to soothe myself because maybe as a kid, I didn't like my present reality and it became a habit to be able to go places when I was bored in school and I didn't like the subject or whatever it is. I would just daydream. And it became a habit for me. And I'm sure a lot of people can resonate with being addicted to ruminations or daydreams or fantasies or, shitty scenarios or what's happened in the past. And it's like, that isn't living. And the point is to really live your life. So if you want to really live your life, get really fucking good at being present. Get really good at loving the right now. And that means when you're walking up and down the stairs, really walk up and down the stairs. And if there's a chance and you're bored waiting, don't pull out your phone. Just really enjoy being there. Because running in Instagram land, that also isn't really living. You're living in a fantasy world. And I was like, dang, that's what I needed. And I need this reminder consistently. I'm going to be doing these retreats, multiple times a year for the rest of my life, I feel like, because the positive benefits of getting out of the mold you're in, especially the funk you're in, and being able to realign to just liking life as it is, the real reality of living. It's a massive benefit. And when I got out of that retreat, so many opportunities started flying to me again. And I was happier with my life. Whatever is happening in my life, I was happier with my life. And I started becoming magnetic again. And that's where I was like seeing, oh, great, these opportunities are like falling out of the sky. I was like, I don't really want to be on Instagram as much anymore. And I'm like, well, maybe I'd like to go into real estate development, real estate selling, just like go into properties. I think I'd like enjoy that as the next stage of my life. And then one of my gym friends owns a real estate development agency. And he's actually a pretty like hot gay Brazilian guy. He's a good looking dude. And he was like, hey, do you want to get breakfast? Like, if you want to talk about real estate? I'm like, absolutely. And he was like, well, I have a training coming up if you want to learn the legalities of Bali real estate. So, all the ins and outs of actually how Bali real estate works legally. I was like, yeah. He's like, come take it for free. I'm like, seriously? He's like, yeah. So just like an opportunity fell in my lap. And I feel like it became that way because I cleared myself out. Like, because I actually let go of some shit that I was holding on to, that was blocking my creative powers and manifestation powers, my magnetic powers, because I was kind of stuck in my own rut of not wanting to be okay with society, with my reality, and being angry that I got frauded out, like scammed by some guy for $8,000, which is not that big of a deal. But I felt egoically wronged. Like, my ego was like, how dare you do that to me? Like, if I was there, I wouldn't let this happen. And I felt powerless that like this guy did it to me. And then I found out he scammed $1 million, like more than $1 million, off of multiple people, like a bunch of single moms and retirees and bankrupting people. Like, he's an actual scam artist. So like, in a way, it made me feel a little better. I know it sucks. Like, he robbed so many more people than me, and mine was one of the lowest, smallest, people that he screwed over. But it made me feel like it didn't just happen to me. Like, it happened to a lot of people. It's a weird situation. You know what I mean? Like, there's other victims and you feel a little bit better. I'm sorry. And then I felt really angry that it happened to other women. And I was like, I'm going to do something about this. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to, I'm going to try to take them down. I'm going to go 50 Cent on them. But at least it wasn't just me. So anyways, through the meditation retreat, after I got out and I sat with myself, that's when all these other things came up and I found peace with whatever was happening. So I didn't have a mental charge around the situation. And I feel like when we hold all these mental charges around situations that have already happened or haven't happened, we're really clogging up our channel, our ability to call in things we think about, because all of us are very powerful manifestors, all of us. And if we're able to just really clear the cobwebs and be present in the moment, you open yourself up to the magic within you that then pulls magic around you. And that's what like I got reacquainted with in the last like couple of weeks. And I just wanted to share that with you guys to show you like, hey, all of us go through ruts, even me. All of us deal with some real shit in our lives, stresses. Like this happens to all of us, right? And the answer to it for me was to fall back in love with the present moment and to be skillful with how I think and to really be able to find that space back in love with my practice and that skill within me to get there. And that's what I love, get reacquainted with. And I want to be teaching that on my Bali retreat that's going to be in January. And so I'm going to be teaching different mindfulness and meditation techniques. I'm going to be showing you guys my most like favorite spiritual places in Bali and epic waterfalls and priestesses and, go paint the schools with the kids, like things that really bring up your vibration so your soul feels nourished. So then you're able to manifest again. And plus we'll bring my buddy Damien, who's a fitness trainer, and we'll do fitness master classes and workouts and, all these really like beautiful things that build a powerful life and it's going to be like a habit interrupt. So if you're in your own funk, or you just want to get reacquainted with the good in you, the manifestation powers in you, your spiritual powers, and you just need a break from the city life, like my retreat's perfect for that. So I want that experience that I've had, that I retreated myself into, to facilitate that for others in a powerful way that's also fun, that we can also laugh at and have a good time and eat good food and, meet cool people and see cool things. Like, that's a whole process in it. So if that feels like your jam, DM me on Instagram that you want to come to my Bali retreat. I'll jump on a call with you and we can, get you signed up to come along to something that I hope is life-changing for you, because it changed my life. Bali saved my life, and I want to show you that experience. So I hope you got something out of this podcast that was like an aha. And that's like the goal for me here, is to help you guys get some gold that can help you think a little bit better, to help you live a little bit better, to end some suffering, and to promote some joy and presence and a connection to yourself. This is the Ink Pray Love podcast. I do this for free for you. Here I shoot all this as a gift, because I want to benefit you guys somehow, some way. And I hope I'm achieving that goal. And if I am, let me know on Instagram, or share this episode. Please help me grow the podcast. I really appreciate all you guys listening. And I got a lot of love for you all. Thank you so much. And I'll see you on the next episode. Peace. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Ink Pray Love podcast. I hope you found it inspiring, entertaining, funny, and also feeling a little bit more present and connected to yourself. Please leave a review and like and subscribe and do all those things. I'd really appreciate that. As well as, if you're feeling in a giving mood, this podcast is there for the charities that I love to support. Go to www.arenbahia.com/charity and get some of those good karma points. This podcast is brought to you by Lighthouse Studios in Bali, as well as Full Reset Coaching. That is my coaching practice. And if you're looking for help in business, inner game impact, and building your legacy to be something you're proud of, your brand, your business, and how you walk the earth and who you impact, and also having the mindset and the heart set to be able to be happy handling it all, I'm here for you. Just DM me. Let's go. Peace out, homies. I'll see you on the next episode.